course. She had really been the cause of all those figures that were set against the names of men in the bank on Mr. Marble's little list. A man had to have a drink occasionally when he slipped out of the office at 11:30, and of course he had to stand his friends one too if they were with him. He could have paid for them easily if Annie had not spent all his money for him. And he had to smoke too, and have a good lunch occasionally. Mr. Marble resolutely refused to think of how much he had spent on his hobby of photography. He knew that it was more than he should have done, and somewhere inside his conscience there was a nasty feeling that there was another bill, unreckoned in his list, due to the chemist at the end of the road for things he had bought for this purpose. The shelves in the bathroom upstairs were full of materials, and Mr. Marble did not like to think of this, for he had never used half of them, having lately found more amusement in contemplating his hobby and buying things for it than in actually doing anything. It was all very annoying and exasperating. How his head ached and how tired he felt. His mind was numb. The grim feeling of blank despair was swamped by complete lassitude of soul. He realized vaguely that his oft-repeated threat of sending the children to bed without any supper would soon be carried into effect despite himself. He would be sacked from the bank, and he would never get another job. He knew that well enough. He supposed it would end like the cases one read about in the paper, with his children's throats cut and himself and his wife dead of gas poisoning. But at present, he hardly cared. He wanted to relax. When those blessed kids had been packed off to bed, he would drag the armchair up to the fire and put his feet up on the coal box and read the paper and be comfortable for a bit. In the decanter in the sideboard, there was a little drop of whisky left. Not much, of course. 3 drinks, perhaps, or maybe 4. Mr. Marble hoped it was 4. With a drink and a paper and the fire, he could forget his troubles for a little, for he couldn't do anything towards remedying them this evening. Mr. Marble hardly realized that he had said the same thing to himself every evening for months now. The prospect seemed ineffably alluring. He yearned towards the decanter in the sideboard, and the wind was shrieking outside, sending the rain spattering against the windows. That would make it seem even more comfortable when he was beside the fire. But the children must be disposed of first. For some obscure reason, Mr. Marble had an objection to drinking whisky in front of his children. His wife did not matter so much, although he would have preferred to have her out of the way too. A glance at the clock disappointed him a little. It was only 7:30, and the children would not be going to bed for another half hour at the earliest. He felt suddenly irritable. He peered surreptitiously from under his eyebrows to see if he could catch them misbehaving so as to send them off at once. The whisky would taste all the better if he could come to it fresh from a parental triumph and an autocratic exertion of authority. "Stop the noise, John," he ordered, with queer, feeble savageness. John looked round from his chair by the fire, a little startled. 5 seconds ago, he had been mazed in the pages of How England Saved Europe, and had been leading the Fusilier Brigade over heaps of dead up the blood-stained hill of Albuero. He gazed vacantly at his father. "Don't look at me like a fool," spluttered Mr. Marble. "Do what you're told and stop that noise." The 2 orders were synonymous, but John did not realize that. "What did you tell me?" he asked vaguely. "No impertinence now. I said stop that noise." "What noise, father?" asked John, more to gain time to collect his thoughts than for any other reason. But the question was fatal. "Don't try to deny it," said Mr. Marble. "Now, you were making a noise, you know, Johnny," said Mrs. Marble. "You were kicking with your feet," chimed in Winnie. "I didn't deny it," protested John. "You did," said Mrs. Marble. "You did," said Winnie. "Be quiet, Winnie," snapped Mr. Marble, rounding on his usual favourite in unusual fashion. "You're as bad as he is, and you know it. Have you done your homework yet? I send you to a good school, and this is all..."